Dear students, welcome to today's program. Today I am with you. I am Syed Firoz Alam. Dear students, how are you? I hope all of you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. Today I will discuss a lesson from English for today. It is Unit 4 and Lesson 11. You can see the unit, and the title of the unit is People Who Make a Difference, and you can see the learning outcomes of this unit. Okay, let us see learning outcomes of today's lesson. After we have studied this lesson, we will be able to ask and answer questions, read and understand text, write answers to questions, write about an experience. You can see the learning outcomes of today's lesson here. Now, move on to our next slide. You can see here two pictures. Dear students, can you guess the picture? Think about the picture. Is it in home? No. It is a bed in a hospital by the window. So, our today's lesson is a hospital window. You can see some keywords from this lesson: vivid, overlook, view, skyline in detail. Let us learn the meaning of these words. First one, vivid. Vivid means producing powerful feeling or strong, clear images in the mind. Overlook. It means fail to notice. View. It means the ability to see something or to be seen from a particular place. Skyline. It means an outline of land and buildings defined against the sky. In detail. It means as regards every feature or aspect fully. I hope the meanings of these words are clear to you. Dear students, do you want to see a video? I hope if you see this video, you will get a clear idea about today's lesson. Let's see the video.
So what is he doing now?
He's down on one knee, handing her flowers.
She doesn't want flowers. She wants a ring.
That's what he's afraid of. But wait a minute. She just threw all the flowers on the ground and stormed off.
She wants a ring.
He's going after her. Forget it, kid. She's gone.
Hey, you know, if it wasn't for you telling me what's going on in that park, I don't know what I'd do.
I enjoy it.
You made me realize that there's plenty to enjoy without having to see it. Thanks.
Forget about it. Eat your lunch. Guess who's sitting on the bench, holding the flowers?
You're kidding.
I kid you not.
Well, what's he doing?
He's standing up. She's back. She's
She's what?
She's taking the flowers
And what?
and she's giving him a big kiss. Oh, he's back down on one knee again.
Uh-oh.
But this time he's got something else.
A ring?
Yep, you got it.
Way to go, kid.
Murray, are you ready?
Am I ready? Who can ever be ready for something like this?
I know, but it is time.
Well, if it's time,
Then it's time.
luck, my friend. Only one tray?
He didn't make it.
Nurse, will you do me a favor, please? Would you take a look down at that park and tell me what you see?
Mr. Johnson, there's nothing outside this window but a brick wall.
So, dear learners, I hope you have got a clear idea about today's lesson. Let us read the text, read aloud the story about a hospital window and think about the questions. Two sick men were given the same room in a hospital. There were two sick men who were given a same room in the hospital. One man could sit up in his bed. One man could sit up in his bed. His bed was next to the room only window, and his bed was next to the room's only window. There was only a window and his bed was next to it. The other man spent all his time lying on his bed opposite the window, and the other man spent all his time lying on his bed opposite the window. The men talked for hours almost every day. The men talked for hours almost every day. They talked about their wives and children, their homes, their jobs, and almost about everything. As they passed the whole day together, they talked about their wives and children, their homes, their jobs, and almost about everything. Okay, let's move to the next slide. First, you can see a question here. Can you guess why they talk about all these things? Every afternoon, the man in the bed by the window would sit up. The man who had his bed by the window, he would sit up every afternoon and talked to his roommate about all the things he could see outside the window. And he would talk to his roommate about the things he could see outside the window. The man on the other bed eagerly waited for this speaking and listening time, and the man on the other bed eagerly waited to listen from his friends. His friends' vivid descriptions of passing things seen through the window inspired him to live, and the things his friend described would inspire him to live. And it is very important to inspire someone when he is passing his time in a hospital. And the other man did it. Next, you can see a question here. Can you guess what the man near the window talked about to his friend? The window overlooked a park with a lovely lake. The man would say that the window overlooked a park with a lovely lake. ducks and swans played on the water. He could see ducks and swans playing on the water, while children floated their paper boats, and children would float their paper boats on the water. A wonderful view of the skyline could be seen in the distance, and the man would say that he could see a wonderful view of the skyline in the distance. The man by the window told his friend all this in detail, and the man who had his bed by the window told all his friends all these things in detail. The listener would close his eyes and see everything in his mind's eye, and the listener, he would close his eyes and he could imagine everything in his mind's eye. Okay, let's move to our next slide. Here you can see a question. What would the listener feel and do if one day his friend could not sit up and talk? Days and weeks passed. Days and weeks passed by. One morning, the doctor came to the room on his daily round. One morning, the doctor came to the room on his daily round. He found the lifeless body of the man by the window. He found the lifeless body of the man by the window. He died peacefully in his sleep. The man who is bed by the window died peacefully in his sleep. The doctor made all the arrangements to take the body away. Then the doctor made all the arrangements to take the body away. The sad friend wanted to move to the empty bed next to the window. The friend beside him was very sad and he wanted to move to the empty bed next to the window. The doctor allowed him, and the doctor allowed him to move to the bed by the window. On his new bed, the man painfully proved himself up. On his new bed, the man painfully proved him up. He was very excited. He was very excited because he was thinking to see the things that he heard from his friend. He slowly looked through the window to see the real world outside. He wanted to see the real world outside. For this reason, he slowly looked through the window. What did he see? Can you guess what did he see? Okay, move to our next slide. Can you guess what he saw? The window just faced a blank wall. The man saw a blank wall. He asked the doctor, "Doctor, I see nothing but a blank wall." He told the doctor that he saw nothing but a blank wall. How could my friend describe so many wonderful things outside the window? He wanted to know how his friend could describe so many things outside the window. The doctor replied, "Did he?" The man was completely blind. The doctor was surprised because the man who had his seat by the window, he was completely blind. How could he describe so many things? So, dear learners, this is all about our lesson today. In this lesson, you can see that two sick men were given a same room in a hospital. The man who had his bed by the window could barely sit up, and the man who had his bed next to the man passed all his time lying on the bed. The man who had his bed by the window talked to his friend about everything. They talked about their wives and children, their homes, their jobs, and almost everything. And every afternoon, the man who is his bed by the window would sit up and told to his roommate what he could see outside the window. And the other man eagerly waited to listen from his friend. His friend would describe vividly of passing things that can be seen through the window, and it inspired him to live. The man would say that the window overlooked a park with a lovely lake. He could see ducks and swans played on the water. He could see children floating their paper boats. A wonderful view of skyline could be seen in the distance. The man by the window told his friends all the things in details. The listener would close his eyes and he imagined everything in his mind's eye. Days and weeks passed by. One day the doctor came to visit them on his daily routine, and the doctor found the lifeless body of the man by the window. Then the doctor made all the arrangements to take the lifeless body away. The sad friend wanted to move to the next bed, and the doctor allowed him. And whenever he was allowed to move to the next bed, he was very excited because he was thinking of the things that he heard from his friend. He wanted to see the real world outside. But whenever he looked through the window, he saw a blank wall. Then he was surprised. He asked the doctor. He could see nothing but a blank wall, and he wanted to know how his friend who died earlier could see everything, could say so many things that he could see from the window. The doctor was surprised because the man who had his bed by the window was completely blind. So, it is clear that the man who had his bed by the window told everything to the other man just to inspire him to live. Dear learners, this is all from today's lesson. Now, I will give you a homework. Dear learners, you must do the homework and you must show it to your subject teacher when your school will open. Now, see the homework. Discuss in groups and write an answer to this question. Why did the blind man describe all those wonderful things outside the window? You have to write answer to these questions. And if you have any questions or if you want to share your opinion with us, you can send it through email. That's all for today. Dear learners, thank you all. Stay home and stay safe.